fear in Short Tongue's eyes unnerved the warden. The rift had a new threat. Tail spinners. Eggs from these 8-legged beasts had hatched, and frogs were their favorite food. Short Tongue was right. The rift was infested with tail spinners. Their webs would snare all if they were not stopped. Freeing the frog from the web, Arlo sent him back to Bogmire Forge. Arlo hoped he had not caught the attention of the hatchling's mother. Short Tongue shouted at Arlo's approach. The tail spinner queen had taken frogs captive to feed her young. Arlo did not hesitate. This was a fate he wouldn't wish on even his worst enemy. They crept up on the 8-legged monstrosity as she ensnared another frog in her webs. The webbing was thick and tough, but their blades soon cut them to ribbons. Short Tongue sent the terrified frog toward Bogmire Forge. Injured though she was, the queen had no intention of giving up her hunt. Her young hungered. Another villager freed. They too headed for Bogmire, and Arlo wondered how many more frogs it could take. A dank and unsettling place. It had to be the Queen's lair. Arlo wondered what his father would say if he could see him risking his life for frogs. The tail spinner Their queen was dead, and the frogs were soon at work rebuilding the village. The warden was sure mammalian-amphibian relations would be forever changed. The Council card. This card brings balance to any deck. The Death card. A harbinger of bad tidings. Winter's Edge bustled again, but now with folk from across the north. All were in need of homes and work. Leaf suggested a new builder's yard would solve both problems. The yard needed a builder, and Arlo knew who to ask. Some rats protest at any change to their view, none more so than the elder and mossbug. The glimmer in the dirt revealed an ancient runestone, perhaps fallen from one of the pillars that encircled this tomb. The runestone slipped into place. Arlo wondered which tale was true. That treasure lay within, or some ancient horror. On hearing that Arlo was warden, the old rat was quick to report a beaver had moved onto the hill, rebuilding the old shack, and that maybe Arlo should check his permits. These farmers had been to the shack to trade with the beaver, but found no sign. Perhaps, like these rat folk, something else had found him first. The sky once again burned bright with a flashing light, but this time it was accompanied by an eerie laugh. Before the warden stood a slender rat, his lips still curled from laughter. As Arlo went to question the stranger, he clapped his paws together, imparting his gift onto the warden. Although Arlo was grateful for the gift, he could not ignore the feeling that this stranger was using him as part of some intricate plan. At the shack, the only clue was a tuft of fur and half-chewed logs, until he heard a snarl that stood Arlo's fur on end. A backstabber pup. The pup's nest would not be far. Arlo feared for the beaver's fate. Lay unmoving, another death on his conscience. The culprit stood before him. Arlo did not have his father to aid him. This time he would fight alone. The backstabber lay defeated, and Arlo paid his respects to the beaver, who leapt up at Arlo's paw. Playing dead had spared his life. A chance to work and live at Winter's Edge brought a sparkle to Billy Beaver's eye. He could not wait to get his teeth into the stone of the mighty keep. Arlo hoped he did not mean it literally. Entering the mole hole, the two moles looked at Arlo confused. They were expecting a delivery of bug burgers, but it was clear Arlo didn't have them. They offered to pay him handsomely, if he could deliver them quickly. Billy Beaver in place, work could start on the builder's yard. With enough materials and gold, Arlo would make Winter's Edge a place beyond his father's dreams. Leaf had news from the docks. A hunter had arrived in the night, badly injured and seeking help from the warden. The young hunter was unsteady on his paws and seemed afraid. Leaf bid him tell his tale. Tuck and his family were royal hunters. They had been sent by the king to the rift, but met with disaster. At the temple ruins, a strange creature from the sky had taken his father and brother. Arlo made for the temple ruins once more. The Darkwings returning so soon troubled him. He hoped the rotting corpses of frogs he'd left to fester had not been the cause. In the distance, Arlo could make out the silhouette of a solitary hunter. Maybe this was the rat he was looking for. The ranger proclaimed he was Robin of Longtail, first hunter to the king. He had escaped the Darkwings, and glad to know Tuck was safe, but he would not leave while his youngest, Little John, was still captive. These creatures were doing more than raiding. There was no chance to explain as dark shadows swooped down upon them. Ruins were near. Arlo would waste no time on more talking. He would not be too late this time.